why Mark Stiles is not here tonight. It is very exciting. But Mark is actually up in New Hampshire talking with a person who owns a very large, beautiful building up there in Lincoln, New Hampshire, because this, if all goes according to plan, will be the site of the very first IM Institute, which will be taking the IM approach, which, as you know, is just believing that everybody's doing the best they can. And we will be teaching that to other people who will then be able to go out and spread the word. And people can come in there, and it will be not just about psychology, not just about psychiatry, but about everything. Because the IM approach is applicable to so many things. So somebody may come in who's having difficulty in their business, and they want to know, how do we use the IM approach to do that? Somebody may come in who is a chief executive of a company. How do we use the IM approach in our company? So it is very exciting. I want to thank Mark so much for putting this together. And if you're listening, Mark, I appreciate it, because my oxytocin levels have increased and I am at a whole different IM. So thank you. What do you think about that, Tom?
Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Dr. Joe.
My narcissism is intact. But with that in mind, Tom, can you introduce our wonderful guest for tonight?
Oh, my pleasure. Well, tonight, Dr. Joe, we've got Josh Garneau, Managing Director of ImprovBoston, as well as co-producer of the award-winning Kerfuffle, and Zoe Bradford, co-founder and artistic director of the Company Theater in Norwell. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Pleasure
welcome.
to be here.
Welcome. It is wonderful to have you guys here. Zoe, I want to just start with you, if you could. And Josh, be attentive. I know you will be, because we are going to be talking about theater, but we're also going to be talking about theater right now in the age of COVID, because it's got to be different. I mean, just like Tom and I were trying to sing a song on Zoom, and there's differences with how quickly the Wi-Fi kicks in. So what's been going on there at Company Theater?
Okay, Joe, what a great question. Well, after we all sunk in on the initial shock of the fact that we weren't going to be able to perform last year, on stage as usual, I really made sure that we still had our educational program intact. Of course, people were afraid to come on site, but we have basically become outdoors, so that's what we did for the summer. Which is fine, because we do a lot of outdoor activity at our theater anyway during the summertime, because we have a big educational arm, the Academy of the Company Theater. It's been very successful. We love it, and it creates wonderful performers of the future. We have quite a few improv artists attending that, by the way, and just everything. We offer everything from photography to fencing. I mean, it's just anything you can. Very eclectic. So we carried on with that.
I just want to interrupt,
of course there was a fear of COVID, so we had to reduce classes and all of that.
I mean, at the Academy, I think my kids went there.
They did. They did. Indeed, they did. And I had a wonderful time with your kids. We've seen generation after generation. We started in 1987. And moved. And then when we took over our theater in 1992, of course, we really started flourishing with the educational portion of what we do. But it was very important to me not to compromise what our brand is, if that makes sense to you, Joe. So when people are like, oh, why don't you just do one small thing, or do a concert outside, or do all that's great, but it's not who we are. But because we couldn't sit idle, and because we had to keep in the public eye, and because it's so vital that we keep some monies rolling in, we did 2 outdoor fundraisers. One was in conjunction. We teamed up with the Hingham Historical Society. And for the entire month of October, we were performing outside. We did a haunted Hingham tour, and people played historic characters. Tons of my actors volunteered. And like I say, it ran for the whole month on weekends. Sold out so fast your head would spin. I had told the Deidre Anderson, who we partnered with, I said, she was like, oh, we could just try this for a couple of nights. I said, no, no, no. This has got to be the whole month. I said, this is going to go nuts. And she's like, oh, I don't know. We don't sell that. I said, no, no, you got to trust me. This is going to go wild. And it did. The thing completely sold out in a day and a half. And we had to add more tours. So we did that, and that was so successful. And in the meantime, we just did a Zoom theater performance with our youth, which is not the same. And they did as best they could with special effects thrown in and backgrounds and various things and sound effects. But it's not the same as live. Everybody knows that. The kids are getting very zoomed out. They do it for school. They have to do it with their friends. They're sick of it, quite frankly. So that's a big challenge. But because the Haunted Hingham tour was so successful, we moved on and did a Victorian Christmas tour and ran that for the month of December on weekends, and once again sold out wildly, which was great. We did it on property as opposed to being in downtown Hingham, which was wonderful. We tried to, as much as we could within our very limited budget, light up the whole grounds, and so it became very enchanted. We have little locations on site that were interesting, and we took a very Victorian look at the holiday, which was nice because it kind of brought people back down to what the holiday really is, and it had less commercialism and more about story, myth, legend, and kindness, and some beautiful stories of the season. So that was super successful. Now it's cold, so we're not doing anything outside until March. We have planned a St. Patrick's Day thing that will run the first 2 weekends of March plus St. Patty's Day itself, in which we will once again kind of do sort of a pub thing. This will be more geared for adults as opposed to entire family. We'll have a craft beer. We'll tell all kinds of stories and have songs. Well, very limited. You got to be far away when you sing because of COVID. You've got to be at least 10 to 20 feet away from your people. In very small groups will come in and they'll enjoy that. Past that, I've put it together a season, and then we're going to do an Alice in Wonderland immersive with the kids and teens. So it's not a traditional Alice in Wonderland. It's it's that story, but it's going to take you on a live journey where you're interactive. So we're trying to think outside the box, but still make it really enchanting and beautiful. That's who we are. We're very visual and we're very unique. So I just want to make sure it's got our company theater stamp on it. And I love doing stuff outside, but really our signature is great big musicals. And of course, we're on tremendous hold for that. And we are very hopeful we can get back on track with at least half to 3/4 houses by June. There you go. There's my answer.
Yeah.
And that's, if I'm not mistaken, Rock of Ages.
Well, actually, when we were in rehearsal in February and March, we were in the process of rehearsing The Wiz with a wonderfully diverse cast, beautiful cast of kids and teens, super strong piece. And that got interrupted about 3 weeks before it was supposed to open. And in the meantime, we had just opened one night only, Fun Home. So the plan is to start with Fun Home. The set is still up, and it is a gorgeous piece of theatrical building by Ryan Barrow. And we want to open with that. And I know the cast, crew, and orchestra, everybody is standing by. It really was a masterpiece, Joe. I don't mean to brag, but it was really a brilliant, brilliant piece. We want to reopen with that. It had a super cast from Greater Boston and all over, and then go into The Wiz, which will take a couple weeks of rehearsal, and then we'll go into Rock of Ages. Fingers crossed that all that can start happening by the summertime. We don't know. Yeah, but boy, we have our.
But it'll be great on
fingers
so many
crossed.
levels because that's really clever to keep the set and reopen with that show, because it's around the same time you get nostalgic for a show.
Right, exactly. And the cast was so proud of it, that one night we performed it was a night that in my career, my long career in theater, that I will never forget. The energy in the room, the pending fact that we don't know when we will be back again, and the passion of how people wanted to perform this thing was really off the Richter scale. So when we do reopen with it, I think people are really going to go wild for it. So that
Well,
that will be great. And like you say, it's the thing is it's ready. We can get it together probably in a week. So that's going to be amazing too. Because we'll be ready to jump right in on a show.
well, I mean, it is the preparation and how we adjust to COVID and being able to jump right in. And we've adjusted as well. We're going to jump right in actually to our first commercial break.
Okay.
So we're going to jump right into that. We'll be back then, talk with Zoe Bradford and Josh Garneau of Improv Boston. And Ben, happy birthday. Let's take a break.
Stretch the